So in the intergenerational piece, for me, this is the center of this whole ecosystem, in the sense it's where all the ages come together, and the life and events of church are the center of this model. And so the best way to say it is, let me hit this. These 5 different aspects of intergenerationality. Every church here is intergenerational, but only some churches are intentionally intergenerational. I'll give you a great story. A church I worked with, almost 15 years ago. Part of a big national project where we help churches develop intergenerational faith formation. Bring all the ages together, learn together, grow together, pray together, celebrate together. Well, they've been doing intergenerational learning monthly during the year for 13 years. This past spring, they did their first, and they do mission trips, youth mission trips, sometimes adults and youth on a mission trip. They did their first intergenerational mission trip. The youngest was 10 years old, the oldest was 82 years old. And they went to, I forget which Central American country. We'll Costa Rica. I don't think that was the right country, but pretend. It was in Central America. I just can't remember which one they told me it was. And which they had a relationship with. They had done international mission trips, et cetera. So, I don't know, 30, 40 of them went on mission together. To a person, they came back and talked about the fact it was the most transformative thing they had ever done at St. Elizabeth of Hungary. The most transformative for everybody, the 10-year-old and the 82-year-old and everybody in between. Mission trips are transformative in and of themselves, but the intergenerationality and then how they connected with that intergenerationality in Costa Rica, and that combination was transformative. And I thought, that's the genius of intergenerational community and faith formation. And it's available to every one of the churches here because you get the people, so to speak, for free. You don't get intergenerational for free, but the people are there. Many of you may be familiar with a group called Road Scholar. They used to be Elder Hostel, okay? And they were programs for old people who were in good shape physically. You know, it's a lot more outdoor rigorous programs. Well, the old people now are 55 and over because they adapted to the longer life cycle, and these baby boomers who want to stay active, learning, growing. You know, their fastest growing program has nothing to do with older people or mature adults. The fastest growing program is grandparents with grandchildren 10 years and over. If you should have just had a V8 moment. Because what your church has is grandparents and 10-year-olds. You may not have the parents, but you got the kids. This is a made-for intergenerational experience for churches. What's not to like? Intergenerationality. How do we become intentional about caring and weaving that into the fabric of everything we do, building relationships? Mentoring. I was with a church recently that had just every young person in that church has an older member of the church who prays for them every single day. This is like, of course. And what happened after 3 months of this, the high school kids said, we want to meet these people who are praying for us. And all of a sudden, what started out as a more abstract, mystical, became embodied. Simple stuff. We're talking about simple, intentional practices. Perhaps not your church, but lots of churches still segregate ages at worship. Well, when do you actually ever graduate to the Sunday worship experience? Hopefully before you decide to leave church. But thinking intergenerational about consciously intergenerational in our worship life, in the way in which we celebrate milestones and rituals and sacraments, where everybody gathers together and everybody benefits. And the church year feasts and seasons, one of the gifts of being a liturgical church is how we tell time and mark time through the year. Feasts and seasons are simply great intergenerational experiences that also transfer to the home really well. So sometimes I'm working with churches, and I just want to shake them a bit and say, use what you have. These are your great assets. Make them more intentionally intergenerational so that people are learning and growing together through the natural course of the church's life. Learning, I could do a whole day just on intergenerational learning programs and bring that in, and we can talk more about that tomorrow if that pops on people's plans. But how to not only bring the generations together. I work with churches that have like 3 people in grade 1 Sunday school, 10 in grade 2, nobody in grade 3, bad year. And I say, why are you spending all that energy when you could spend the same amount of energy and bring all the generations together and get a forfeit? You get parents, grandparents, the kids, the teens, all under one umbrella, and you get adult faith formation for free. That thinking through possibilities for faith formation, and then all those adults who are role models for the young and vice versa. Praying, being intentional about all of our prayer experiences, and I gave the example of intergenerational service, but that was a global thing. Just churches that do intergenerational service days throughout the year where everybody has something to contribute. And it's a great missional activity because there's nothing, service is a great equalizer in terms of mission. So just being more intentional about our intergenerational community and using our great assets already present there to connect everybody.